this plan, and I would say for at least the first 5 years, is any additional project to finance it would take a property tax increase.
We walked into a meeting in Knoxville 2 or 3 weeks ago, and Sullivan County, which is one of the most prosperous counties in the state, certainly in East Tennessee, and they had their design up there. And I'll be honest with you, at first I thought it was ours. That was a carbon copy of what we're building here. They are prosperous enough, they can have pretty much anything they want. So when you talk about this one level jail, I know you push it. You say we haven't done our research. We've been, just this group of commissioners have been researching this for 3 years. And we continue to research it. We continue to look at ways to effectively pay for this, effectively run this. You know, when we started this, we said $65 million. You guys said 30 or 35 million. Your estimates have doubled, correct? Their estimates have not doubled. Not ours. So we all go into this in a learning process, and we're doing the best we can.
There are things we can cut from this. It said we have to do, yeah, we need to build a jail. We need to build a jail. But when we started this, it was a jail. And then we added a justice center. I would love to have it. I would love to have a new justice center, new courtrooms, all the storage room that we could get, all the new offices. But when you can't afford it and continue to run the government the way we are without raising taxes and costs, something has to be cut. That's all I'm asking, guys. Look at it, think about it, and cut it before we go further. It doesn't have to be all cut, but we need to make some cuts somewhere. This is just too much, in my opinion. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Anyone else?
Mr. Chairman, I do want to reiterate again what Thomas Dovey is saying. It has to be cut. Taxes are going to be increased, and most people can't afford to pay that, especially if they're elderly on fixed incomes. That being said, why not just build a jail, start out with that? I mean, you know, if we got to have a jail, I know, then do the jail. It will save a bunch of money so far. It'll be a lot less cost, a lot less burden to the taxpayers. Like Commissioner Doty said, I'm not against having a nice facility, but right now, it's scary. It scares me to go into this kind of debt in this small county, especially with the way things are going. So that's all I have to say.
We have a motion.
Gentlemen, I'm going to ask them, this is just so much. The mayor's already said, without additional revenue increases, we can't borrow anymore after 2034. There's going to be more things come in. We're going to be locked down. I just don't want to see us do that. There's other avenues here other than this. We can start cutting. There's cuts to be made. There's places that things can be trimmed. There's parts that we can do away with that we don't need, in my opinion. I just think this is too much money to spend at this time. I'd like for y'all to think about that hard before we vote.
Any other discussion?
Mr. Chairman, I want to reiterate what Commissioner Dovey said. He's right. This is way too much money, and the schools, in my opinion, have always been very important as well. And linking these together when you vote no makes you look bad. I'm not against schools, but this much debt. It's like with your home budget. If you borrow too much, you can't pay it back, and that's what concerns me right now. Looking at the country now, looking at several businesses in town here, where they can't get people to work for them now. They've got shortages with employees now, and I'm just worried about the tax revenue this next quarter or even the following quarter. We need to look at some options to cut this back, to be good stewards of the taxpayers' money.
Is that after starting about year 2034, you're going to start creating capacity with no additional revenue. You will have some availability of funding to finance more projects, whether it be school projects or whatever. So in this plan, there is debt availability or money available to service more debt later on.
When Dr. Perry came and talked about the Lincoln Elementary project, he also mentioned that after that completion, that they would be coming back for more money to renovate the existing Lincoln Elementary and Lincoln Middle, where they could utilize those. Do we have any numbers on that in this? Because that's going to be more debt.
No, this is just, the 27 million is just for the new school. Now, let me be clear that to start any other project and to try to finance any other project would take more revenue when we take a tax increase. But other than this plan, and I would say for at least the first 5 years, is any additional project to finance it would take a property tax increase or moving money around from another fund. But to answer your question, Thomas, there's no money.
Legally right now for demands from up above as to what we're going to do about the jail situation.
I mean, as far as like from the state,
Yeah, are we under any additional pressure lately?
I mean, we're not certified. I mean, but it's been that way since 2010.
That's no time.
We still have some federal lawsuits that are pending. But that's, I mean,
You know, this has been, I call it unfortunate. That we're in this position that we as a county have to do this. It's unfortunate. I'd rather build schools. I'd rather build anything but a jail. Anything but a jail. But it's unfortunate that we are in this position. It's unfortunate. And I do have concerns. I agree with Commissioner Doty. I agree with Commissioner Akers. It concerns me for the future of Hamblen County. But when I look at this as a whole, I also see this as an opportunity to do something for 40 to 50 years that costs less today than it will 10 years from now. So what do? Do you make that tax increase today, or do you wait 10 years? It's coming. One way or the other, we can't continue where we're at. We have to continue. Guys, we had a daily population of 475 before we started this. We were hitting over 500. Why would we build 400? Okay, the magistrates are coming. We don't have any definite possibility that the population is going down. We don't know that. If it doesn't go up, hallelujah, we built something that'll last longer than 50 years. Secondly, staffing. I've heard this argument about staffing. Jim Hart was here. He said staffing for the multi-level to the single level would be less than 10 if you fully staff. If we only have 400 at the time, we only staff for 400. It's a break even. You don't have to worry about that. Safety. I've heard this. We have the fire marshal sign off on this. How is it unsafe? We've had everybody look at this. Folks, it's not what I want. This is not. I wish it would cost $35 million like Joe Jarvis said. I would love that today. Those days are gone. They sailed. It's a combination of ideas, folks. I find it very unfortunate the sheriff is in my district. I support the sheriff. I support the one-level jail. I like the idea. So what did? We combined the ideas. We have a wagon wheel jail built on multi-level a multi-level. Guess why? Because we already had land and our architects said it's not prudent to build longer for more than 400. These are decisions that we have discussed for 3 years in this very room. We've heard the professionals. I'm not a professional. I've listened to financing. I've listened to architects. I listened to the construction folks. Guys, this is not an easy decision. It's never been an easy decision, but this decision has come to us. And it is what it is. I'm sorry. I hate this concept. I find it unfortunate, but I think we've got to push forward.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to ask
We have to let the other commissioners address the body before we come back.
Mr. Cutshaw, how many people do you say it takes to staff this facility?
Jim Hart, if I remember correctly, said it could take up to 120, thereabouts. But he also said it would depend on the safety of the population. We don't have to staff at 120 right now. If you build a bigger Walmart, Wayne, you've got to have more people. It doesn't matter if it's a jail or a McDonald's, you've got to have more people if you build bigger. So the argument, if we've got a 255 bed jail now, if we got to have 400 or more, it's going to take more people. That's what we'll staff to, is to the population.
Okay, Jim Hart's figure was 128.
Okay, thank you.
So you've got, ESCO right now is budgeted for 53.
Yes, sir.
ESCO, I think you got about 47 people. He can't even get the personnel to give him what he's staffed for, and hasn't since he's been a sheriff. All right, we staff this, get this thing for 600. How we gonna pay for staffing? Staffing is not in this. Staffing's not in these numbers.
So what do
You basing it on $40,000 per person. You're close to $5 million a year that's gonna take the staffing. That's not, money's not been borrowed for it. You're going to have to take it somewhere. I don't know where you're gonna get it. But the big thing is, ESCO cannot get the people. And he's not the only county around here that can't get the people. They're not gonna go in there and work for $20, $21 an hour when they can go out here and do other stuff for more money. He can tell you that. In fact, I wish he'd tell us about it, just in here. But he has a hard time getting the staff right now. And they're dropping like flies. People are leaving. They're going just like they are, go work for the city, go to, work for the county, go to the city, make more money. That's the same situation this goes in right now, like that.
It's incumbent upon us. That's what we were elected to do. You want to vote us out of office next time? Get your person, run against us, get your votes. That's fine. I'll go home and play with my grandkids. I've sat up here for over 3 years and listened to this, and it's got to stop. This whole country is divided. We're divided. This room is divided. I mean, I was talking to Commissioner Doty. This room's divided. We can't come together. And I'm going to tell you something. We're going to build a jail. We're going to take this forward because it's necessary and it's the right thing to do. We would love to have 100% support in this county. We know we won't get that. But that would be our goal. The pettiness has to stop. The snide comments have to stop.
We have a motion, and we have a second on the floor. Our systems are down, so this is going to be a roll call vote. They could not put it back up, and so the motion, well, I think you got a second. We have a second. You want to read that motion again? This is right here.
Motion to approve the low bid from Blaine Construction, including alternates 1, 2, and 3 for $92,208,548. And to move forward with contract negotiations.
All right, you have the motion, you vote yes in favor of the motion, no if you're not in favor of the motion. Call the roll, please.
Jeff Akers,
No.
Chris Cutshaw,
Aye.
Randy DeVore,
Yes.
Thomas Doty,
No.
Tim Goins,
Aye.
Bobby Hall,
Aye.
Tim Horner,
Yes.
Joe Huntsman, Eileen Arnwine,
Yes.
Mike Reed,
No.
Wayne Neesmith,
No.
Howard Shipley,
Yes.
Jim Step,
Yes.
Taylor Ward.
No.
All right, before she tallies the vote, since we're spending,
It's 9 yeas.
does anybody want to change their vote? I don't want anybody to come up here later on and tell me they didn't have an opportunity to change the vote. Okay, we have 9 yeas, the motion is approved. Okay,
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
thank you. I think Mayor Britton has some last minute things that he needs to do.
We've got, a draft contract. We had it prepared in case you voted for the proposal. So I'll ask for you to review it. Trish, how many copies in here? So that's for you to start reviewing. Also, I've prepared a notice to Chairman Shipley of a special call meeting for two purposes. I'll read this memo to you and then I'll hand it to the chairman. This is official notice that I've called a special meeting of the Hamblen County Commission for 5 o'clock Monday, November 1st, 2021 in this large courtroom in the courthouse. Purposes for the meeting are to discuss and vote on the contract with Blaine Construction Company of Knoxville for the construction of the new Justice Center, and 2, to discuss and vote on the bond resolution for a $10 million issue for the Justice Center project. So those will be the 2 items.
What's that date?
It's November the 1st, it's a Monday,
5 o'clock.
5 o'clock in this room.
And this time, we will entertain non-agenda item, comments only, non-agenda items. You have 3 minutes. Ma'am,
Edna Green, 4981 Cameron Road. Mr. Dowdy, Commissioner Dowdy, thank you. Commissioner Akers, thank you. Commissioner Neesmith, thank you. And I thank Mr. Huntsman, he voted no. Thank you. Mr. Reed, thank you. I messed up. I apologize, sir. I want to say up front, we need a jail, and I know we need a jail. But I will certainly agree with Commissioner Doty. We don't need this, wait a minute. I know, but I'm expressing my opinion of what happened tonight. Then I've got one item.
non-agenda item.
This
is
general
comments.
That's fine.
General, not
General.
non-agenda.
That's fine. I'd like to know how many lawsuits are against the jail right now, from the point where the folks died in the jail, and you have some of those, even though some of you commissioners are not aware of them. Some of them are. I've talked to them about it. I'd like to know how many lawsuits you've got against you as far as otherwise for Hamblen County. Then I would like to know as well on the federal class action lawsuit regarding bail, and if it is one, and I fully expect it to be one because it's a matter of law, it will reduce how many people you have in jail. You folks need to read. You want to talk about safety? 2 people versus 15 is a big safety difference. At my age, I might wrestle 2 of you. But 15 of you jumped on me, I wouldn't have a snowball's chance. So, you're entitled to your opinion, but you need to remember we are as well. Yes, we voted and put you in, so we voted against you, and we will vote against you again. But you need to be good stewards. I am so proud of the commissioners that stood tonight. And for you that did not, I am ashamed of you. And that's just my personal opinion, and thank God I'm entitled to it tonight. But we have looked at the safety aspect. I looked at Coffee County, and I'm going to say this because I want somebody to understand. I looked at Coffee County. I went up in the town. I saw the difference with one employee up there versus how many's in the jail. Praise God, I ain't been in the jail in years to have to release a car for the towing company. And I thank God for that tonight. But there's a big difference in trying to control 2 people and trying to control 15. That's the reason that you've got one of the sheriff's officers that had to leave his job because he got hurt. 3 jumped him. And even though he was a good-sized boy, just like I am a good-sized girl, he didn't have a chance. So you need to do some checking. You ain't done enough research regardless.
Anyone else? Yes.
Bonnie Bullington, 317 Stubblefield Street, and I would like to make a general public comment. First of all, the ones that voted against the Justice Center, not against the jail, but against the Justice Center, because that's what this came down to. It was even right up there on that screen, and we got it on video to prove it. There was not a word about the jail. It was the School and Justice Center project, and that's what this has been all along. And to the ones who sat here tonight and fought to cut expenses, even Commissioner Akert, I said, I think, is the one that said, just build the jail. I think I made that comment in here probably 6 months ago. Build the jail. Get the Justice Center right now. We can't afford it. But for those of you who have fought to save this county some money, thank you from the very bottom of my heart. And to the rest of you, well, you do what you think you have to do. Only you can answer to your actions. And, you know, to my Commissioner Chris Cutchall, you made a very wonderful speech for your mayor tonight. I'm sure he's proud of you. I'm not, and Plattsburgh won't be either.
Anyone else who wishes to address the commission?
They're Hardwood Hill Road. First of all, according to your own agenda, it doesn't say non-agenda items, it says general comments.
Look at the rules of the body. They're very plain and clear,
I'm
non-agenda.
going to make you a general comment. But
Well, I think you need to read the rules of the body because it says non-agenda.
I think you need to read number
Okay.
10 on here. Watch how you print it then.
The rules of the body, under,
Your agenda says different.
you can read that.
Chairman, please, folks, please. We gotta have some decorum. I'm not happy about the way things went. Please, don't have decorum. We don't need it. These 2 only.
We don't need y'all.
No, we don't.
Miller's ditch, number 2. God, lawsuits coming down. Yep.
continue now.
Yeah.
Mr. Hall made a good point, talking about garbage trucks, that we don't know what's gonna happen, we don't have timelines. On the whole electrician, and just 2 projects just in the past 2 weeks, one I made $20,000 renovation in the basement. The other one, Rick Tilley's house being rebuilt, were burnt down, and both of them come to a spotty halt. One of them over a $5.27 electrical box. Can't get them. Another one, it's a $20 product. Can't get it. And the project can't go forward without them. What do you think's gonna happen over here when you start building this? Because unless you have a construction company that has every single piece of material we need for this project, already set in a warehouse, you're gonna have delays like you ain't gonna believe. We are in unprecedented times of what we went through in the past year and a half. And this project should be scaled back, as Mr. Adobe has said. We listened to Representative Verbal Comfort tell us about micro tiles and all this selling of those goods, and we're gonna cut the cost down, and instead we're spending more. This county is going to spend $100 million for a jail in Justice Center. We do need to scale it back. It is time to look at other options. We need a jail only. We don't need a bunch of fancy offices and courtrooms just because somebody in here wants to kiss up to a judge.
Anyone else?
Gwendolyn Holden, 8150 West Point Drive. Used to live at 2343 Silver Springs Road. I had my creek tested long years ago. Feces running down the creek. Linda Noe's son is the one that tested it. I got the results back. Feces running down the creek. Junk cars, nastiness, filthiness. Out in Road Junction. I'm concerned about my community just like these people are theirs. Campers, mobile homes that is not even hooked up to the septic tanks. Don't even have a septic system. Live up on Sawyers Road, don't have a septic system. Wayne Litz put one in for a person when she got a new trailer. I've been doing this for 8 years. 8 years coming here. Never get nothing done. Pay your taxes, Gwen, shut your mouth. Well, I got tired of it. I couldn't get the community cleaned up, so I moved out. That's what y'all do for me, and all I've ever done is work and pay my taxes. Yeah, I'm gonna fight you. I'm gonna fight you till I die. Because you know why? Y'all don't do the right thing. You make laws and you don't even enforce them. Your planning commission is a joke. I know. I've gone through it too for 7 years.
Anyone else?
Elizabeth Brotherton, 339 Macedonia Road. There's a couple of things I would like to address. They weren't addressed on the agenda. One of them is a tax increase that I was emailed about on the 14th of April. And the email reads that it's concluded that there will be a minimal increase in staff, but it's also said, as far as the tax increase, which is what my inquiry was about, is another tax increase on property, that it was the hope that they didn't have to increase taxes for the construction, but there would have to be a revenue increase for the staffing. Now, I would like to see the next meeting, some studies done about staffing and what that revenue increase is going to be and exactly how that's going to impact us, because, I mean, I was already emailed that back in April and it's not been got back to me on how that's going to work. The next thing I'd like to address is parliamentary procedure. That's not on the agenda either, so it counts as general. I've offered time and time again to help y'all out for free, even if I don't agree with you. I've met with a couple of you several times on Robert's Rules of Order. Now, even if I don't agree with you, I would like to see Robert's Rules of Order that y'all voted in years ago upholded correctly. I mean, we might not agree on a lot of things, but I've already offered for free to help y'all out. And every time I come in here, there's errors that's been made. Every single time. And, I mean, I was a debater in college. I know how that works. I mean, and another thing that I would like to address is that when we're talking about in general, now, not anything specific, but when we're talking about like fluctuations in the economy, we can't really say that prices is just going to keep going up indefinitely. That doesn't follow any economic policy. In the 5 years of my business education with 3 different business degrees, none of my professors has ever said that. I'm not sure where any of y'all are getting that, but when y'all have all these things that you're saying about monetary policy and economics, please cite your sources. I mean, if you're going by something, it'd be nice to know what you're going by, because I probably understand it. But when you just throw things out there generally, I ain't got a clue what you're talking about, and half these people back here probably don't either, because it doesn't match up with what basic principles are. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Yes, sir.
Robert 720 Waterway Circle. So in my former address, I said something to the nature of, sorry, I left my book, that whatever you're doing today is going to leave a legacy. And what legacy is it that you are trying to leave? I'm not interested in what happens necessarily today and tomorrow, except for the fact of what it is going to impact us for the future, and even more so with me, with the way I think, how are these things going to impact my children? Hopefully I don't have grandchildren for a really, really long time, or we're going to have some issues at the house. However, I think about that. And I think about, we're putting these things in place that we know, Commissioner Cutshall said, we're probably going to have to raise the taxes here in the next little bit, because things are going to happen. There's no way that this county can do anything for the next 13 years. It's not going to happen. We're going to have to raise taxes. We know that. You understand that. You admit that. You sitting here on the commission understand that. You have some level of knowledge of the way monies work. They come in, they come out. That's just common sense. You know what's going to happen. Well, I think about taxes are raised again. Sure, I guess we'll figure out how to make it. Then I think about, well, my one daughter, she's 17 years old. I'd like for her to be able to buy a house here in this community and stay close to home. And you know what? You're pushing her out. I got another daughter, 16 years old. You're pushing her out. You know why? Because you're making it more and more difficult for people to live here and for people to stay here, and they're going to be out. So you talk about, I want to be able to retire, Commissioner Hahn, and I'm going to go spend time with my grandkids. The way that you're going, they're not going to live anywhere near you, because they're going to have to move out of the county in order to be able to afford to buy a house, unless they're living in one of those campers. So I think I need you to consider not just what you're doing today and not the decisions that you're making today, but how it impacts our community for generations to come, because whether you believe it or not, or whether you know it or not, every decision you make in this commission will impact our future for generations to come. Thank you.
Anyone else?
My name is Tony. So let's talk about the jail. You all say that it's a very hard decision. It's a decision that needs to be made. And we all agree on that we do need a jail. We don't need all the extras. We don't need to tag the Justice Center on with the schools in order to push it. If it's going to happen, it should easily flow. It should be an easy thing. There shouldn't be this back and forth, back and forth. Most of everything else you all vote on, we don't have this back and forth. It's a couple of questions, and it's either a no or a yes. This has been back and forth and back and forth. And I don't think the 14 of you sitting up here should make that judgment. Put it on the ballot. Let the people decide. That way it's not the 14 of you making your own decision. It's the citizens making that decisions. The ones who care, they'll show up and they'll cast that vote. They should be the ones that decide such a large burden on the community. It's the citizens. Shouldn't be the 14 of you. We've empowered you to make decisions for us, but this decision has shown that we need to go outside of this room. We need to let the citizens, the public, people that have their own thoughts, their own ideas of how much we should spend, what size we should build, what is necessary, what kind of debt and burden do we want. That should be the citizens. I appreciate that you all sit up here and try your best to do the best for the community. I just think this one is just a little over and above what you all should put your signature on. If there wasn't so many inconsistencies, then it would be a no-brainer. But there's constantly inconsistencies. The next thing I want to talk about is the Rules Committee. We need to get a jump start back on the Rules Committee. There is not too much going on within the commission to address the rules, okay? Last week, I was threatened that I'd be thrown out for not saying my address. And after I spoke, somebody else didn't say their address and nothing was said. This evening, there was somebody else that didn't speak their address and nothing was said. You can't pick me out, Jim Stapp, because you don't like me. You have to do it even across the board. That's against the law, and there's laws against pointing people out for a particular reason.
Anyone else?
Are you giving me the 5 minutes that I have requested?
I'm sorry, I forgot that, so you have 5 minutes.
All right.
Thank you very much for calling that to my attention.
You're very welcome. Very welcome. I would like to follow up on the Rules and Rules Committee. Let's get with the program and get that going. That was such an important thing to start, and then it just withered on the vine. I was told it was about First Amendment issues. You were trying to research that. Evidently, you researched it pretty well because now you're, filing a lawsuit because of a piece of phone? When are you going to do that? I know you're not going to answer, but when are you going to do that? You voted? Ms. Brotherton said you need a parliamentarian. I believe I said that last time too. When years and years ago you had Herbert Harville up here, he knew how the rules work, and he would help people with the rules. He would fix it. He would tell them when they're right, when they're wrong, how to make a motion if they seem to be stumbling with it. You need a parliamentarian, whether it's one of you or whether it's somebody like Ms. Brotherton. No brainer. We talked about county lawsuits. That was mentioned earlier. I would like to know, and I will send an email out, and I hope somebody will have the courtesy to answer. How do you get an attorney for litigation here? How does the county determine that? Are you all involved? And I'll give the example. In the Open Meetings Act lawsuit, you're represented by Arthur Knight. None of you hired him. I would like to know how he was hired, whether it's under the insurance, and if it is under the insurance policy, who selects him? Why isn't Mr. Katz representing you? Of course, he's not here to answer. There are so many things, and the jail. Oh my goodness. Mr. Cutshaw, you had the perfect segue to go into, let's look at a one-level jail. You did too, Bobby. You said, we've got to go on with this. It's going to get higher and higher. That's not why you do things. How about change the design? That's what's so expensive, the design. And then Mr. Horn, I don't know what's gotten into you, but I mean, evidently somebody has really, really gotten under your craw. And I noticed you looking really hard at me like I never question anybody's salvation. See you, Jim. See you, Tim.
When you get respect, you'll get my respect.
Oh, I'm sure. At least he didn't throw anything at me.
You're getting personal in your comments too, so.
Oh, did you call a point of order on anybody? There is a First Amendment when you get up here. There's some limitations on it, but it's pretty wide open. Sue me. Bring it on. Thank you.
I don't know, well, I'll keep my mouth shut on that. Anyone else who wishes to address the commission? Want to remind the commissioners of the announcements, and then one has been added to the announcement, November 1, 5 o'clock, a call meeting here in this courtroom. Having accomplished our agenda, we stand adjourned. You might need your notebooks, so let's please take them.